NATO is not preparing to fight a conventional war. I mean, culturally, even if we wanted to, even if we had the manpower, which we don't, even if we had the industrial base, which we certainly don't and won't for decades, even if we had all that, we don't have a culture of people that's going to go and fight that kind of war. We simply do not. Our only option, and their only option that they've truly, genuinely been preparing to fight the Russians on for decades, despite popular belief that the Minuteman missiles are outdated. Yes, they are. But it's starting to look more like this whole F-35 thing. The whole point of that whole program is to get that edge. Okay, and we can call this nuclear edging. In this game of nuclear chicken, let's just go back to that analogy, okay? It's a little easier sight to stomach. It's to the point where we're trying to straddle that line, whilst all the while getting all of the pieces into position. What is happening in the Middle East? Okay, so you have the Abraham Lincoln slowly creeping to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, very precautiously creeping past Yemen. Now, if it does make it to the Mediterranean, that starts to look like another part of this decapitation strike plan, if you ask me, because that's getting awfully close to Russia, okay? And these are just all things you need. Like, Russia is literally surrounded, just like China is. And we must presume that if this is the last-ditch Hail Mary plan to save Western financial hegemony, because understand that Thucydides' trap dictates that if you let the Russians win in Ukraine, it's a slippery slope. And I'm not saying this from a matter of preference. I'm just saying if the Russians win in Ukraine and they're successful and they're able to solidify these alliances that they've created and that they are able to take BRICS to the next level and be this global leader, then it's a new Cold War. But not only that, with such a lower population, if you're having the West, who no longer is in control of a lot of these developing countries, and Russia gives them all a leg up, then you have 7 billion people, potentially peer adversaries at some point, who are going to be beating down your doorstep. And so it's a delicate balance. And you know, if the United States and NATO, and not the United States, I don't speak to this from like the perspective of the little guy, you know, the United States citizen. I'm talking about the guys in the suits in the dark room smoking cigars. That's what I'm talking about. Let's make it abundantly clear. If and when they decide to enact this policy, like if they were to just be honest with people about this, say, hey, if we don't do this, we're worried that Russia is going to slowly but surely, perniciously take over the world, then maybe people would be like, oh, okay, if we would just tell the truth about our evil machinations, then, maybe you would even win more people who didn't want to be evil, but, understood it from a rational point of view. But instead, they persist in the lying. Except Lindsey Graham, he likes to let parapraxis, Freudian slip every once in a while. It helps out, but it's not needed if you watch this channel. You know what time it is. Oh, this is... Let's hear what he has to say.
I'm here with President Zelensky. I am such an admirer of what you and your country have done. You're trying to stop the Russians so we don't have to fight them. They don't want any American troops. They just need the weapons to free their country.
He just seems like one of these sneaky, patronizing salesmen, like how and Zelensky can see it too. He's like, this guy's full of shit.
Terrible invasion. They're sitting on $1 trillion worth of minerals that could be good to our economy.
Like, he looks like the kind of guy when he close talks like that, you're going to smell booze on his breath.
So I want to keep helping our friends in Ukraine. We can win this. They need our help. Yes, we need, and we...
Wait, there's something else he said here. Oh, yeah. Listen to this. I mean, God, listen to this.
Of a terrible invasion. They're sitting on $1 trillion worth of minerals that could be good to our economy.
They're sitting on $1 trillion of minerals that can be good to our economy.
We had this as well from this retired general who said that the US is now on the pathway towards another world war, which is very interesting. He said that the US faces the most serious and most challenging threat since 1945, including the potential for a near-term major war. It also found, this is a recent commission that's just been done, it also found that China and Russia are major powers seeking to undermine the US, and that the US military lacks both the capability and the capacity required to be confident it can deter and prevail in combat. Now, it doesn't really explain in granular detail why this is, so I'm going to see if I can get more information on that. What has fundamentally changed from one admin to the other is Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are all working together. We've covered this on other videos. They're collaborating, coordinating, they're truly helping each other, he stressed. And the fact that they perceive the US as being weak and they're going to take advantage of it. So they've been incentivized by their perception. As a result, it is possible that the US could find itself in a conflict with China, and at the same time, Russia and Iran up their game because they believe the US can't. The US would be challenged to handle the conflict with China, much less the two others, and that would mean global war, he explained. So it's quite an interesting interview on this. We've also had now Iran, this is quite a catchy headline because it's about ballistic missiles. US goes ballistic over new Iranian missile transfer to Russian forces. So these are the missiles that have just been transferred then. And Biden has said that he's going to submit a severe response.
Aren't the Russians allowed to do that when actual missiles strike? When ATACMS missiles or HIMARS missiles are used to strike these targets in Russia that represent part of their new, and it's not theoretical, ladies and gentlemen, at least two Russian early warning radar sites that have nothing to do with the war in Ukraine and everything to do with Russia's ability to detect new missile launches that could have a nuclear dimension to them. So we've already allowed Ukraine to attack Russia's nuclear infrastructure. We've allowed Ukraine to launch an attack against Ingalls Air Base where they destroyed some strategic bombers. Again, one of the key aspects of Russia's nuclear doctrine is if you attack our nuclear infrastructure, including the weapon systems used to deliver nuclear weapons, even if you attack them in a non-nuclear manner, we will be allowed to respond as if we were being struck with nuclear weapons. So Ukraine has attacked Russia's nuclear bomber fields in Ingalls. They've attacked at least two nuclear-related early warning systems, and now they have missiles that can attack command and control and actual nuclear-capable missile sites. What is Russia supposed to do? Nothing? Stand back and do nothing? And so I have been saying that we are one ATACMS missile attack away from a nuclear conflict, that all it takes is the Ukrainians to fire one missile that hits the wrong target on the wrong day with the wrong people in it, and we're going nuclear.